You're Northwestern State head coach Bobby Barbier. The Demons wrapping up the regular season. 4 games this week. First one at LSU tomorrow, then 3 at New Orleans Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Coach, I know the biggest thing you wanted to have in hand when you left Brown Stroud Field for the final time this year was the Southland Tournament berth in hand. You got that. Has to feel obviously very good. What does that do for this team going into this week mentally?
Hopefully nothing. I mean, if we continue to say the things and how we're going to play and how we're going to compete each game, regardless of circumstance, and because competing is what we like to do, it shouldn't mean anything, and this is one reason we try to have that approach, because whether it's competing to get in the tournament or already in the tournament or can't get in the tournament or competing for a championship or can't win a championship, it truly shouldn't matter, because you love to compete and you love to play the game. So hopefully it doesn't mean a whole lot. Hopefully our attitude doesn't change a bunch. Hopefully we've got a good day of preparation today. School's out, which makes it a little different for guys. They get to be like big league players. They get to come and play ball. So they like that. They like to play Fortnite and practice. So those are their 2 things they like to do. So we'll prepare hard today for it and go get after Tigers tomorrow.
You mentioned going to LSU. If you look through, there's a handful of guys, probably more so than in recent years, that are in that area, from the Baton Rouge area. One of those guys is Tyler Pygott. He's going to start on the mound. Great start for 3 innings. It was a short start, but it was designated that way. Really turned in a good outing against Grambling. He's certainly turned the corner and really become a guy you can count on.
He has. I mean, he's that's what you want out of pitchers. You want, especially relievers, you want guys that you can count on. Guys that when they come in, you know what you're going to get. And I think Tyler has proven that over time. I think he had a rough outing, his first outing of the season, and after that, he has continued to work and get better. And he's getting these chances because of that. And it'll be even shorter than 3 innings tomorrow. I mean, we'll really chop that game up. I mean, our starters over the weekend will be a little shorter pitch counts with a short rest and a tournament being short again. So we'll chop those games up. So these relievers that throw tomorrow are going to have to come back and throw a bunch against UNO. So it'll really be chopped up, and it gives a lot of guys experience to go out and play on that stage and that championship environment. Well, if we're fortunate enough to get a chance to play deep into the tournament or after the tournament to get kind of that feel of what it's going to be like.
You mentioned not wanting to change how you compete. Obviously, and you touched on it just now, it is a very different atmosphere. It's one, though, that you think these guys, especially the guys from Louisiana, are going to be very up for. So, again, kind of like this weekend, balancing emotions, keeping the same competitive balance, but without getting too far out of yourself.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's going to be natural to be exciting. I mean, guys from Louisiana, they grow up at LSU. It's what it is in Louisiana. Just like when we went to A&M, for the Texas guys on the team, it's that. But, you got to go in with something that Brandon Morgan said, who told our team, is that you go into all these spots with something to prove, and everything you do, something to prove and something to let them know that you were there, I guess, and so hopefully we'll take that mentality in, and the ballpark's great. The guys that haven't been there, be there for the first time, they'll really enjoy that. A lot of guys have been there before, but it'll be good opportunities for us to compete against a quality opponent in a good atmosphere.
You'll stay, it's a little bit different. You end up on the road this year and you end up 90 or 60 to 90 miles east of Baton Rouge in New Orleans. So obviously you're going to spend the whole weekend the whole week along I-10. When you look at UNO, they were a team that for the past couple of years probably exceeded expectations. This year, battling to get in the tournament, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, it does go in cycles. But what Blake Dean's done down there to make that team a competitive team year in and year out in just 3 years is a pretty good measuring stick, I guess, for where he and that program have come.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and they do it a little differently this year. This year they lean on a couple arms. They got 2 of the better pitchers in the league, that throw on Friday and Saturday. So it's a different UNO team that we've had, and it shows you what good teams do. And I mentioned it over the weekend. Good teams find ways to win games different ways, because a lot of our game depends on. We don't like to say this. We don't like it to be this way, but a lot of it depends on how the other team plays and how the other team pitches, if they can play defense and those things. So to be able to go and beat a team that can pitch really well, beat a team that's really offensive, you got to be able to do things different ways. And I think that's part of the success we've had this year is we can, we've got lineups that can go out and really pick it. We've got times we can go out and really swing the bat, and obviously the pitching's been good. So I expect to a really competitive 3 games against those guys, and hopefully we can come out and kind of match that intensity they'll have and with them trying to get into the tournament.
And I think you just hit on it. Well-rounded team, but it's one that also it's grown, because I don't know at the first of the year that you could say that about the versatility of your lineups.
No doubt, and it has. And guys getting at bats does that. Obviously, the 2 seniors having the monster years, and Quan and Dave, and guys that have gotten big hits. I think Tyler Smith, who maybe the batting average isn't where he wants it to be, but it seems like whenever we need that big hit, which is why he's hitting the 3-hole, he comes through with it. And it's giving Dave some protection to where you don't want to face that left-handed hitter if you got a right-hander on the mound. And up and down the lineup, I mean, Caleb Brick was playing much better, played great defense over the weekend, swung the bat well, stole some bases, and helping us find ways to win the game. And you can go through the whole lineup. So if we can keep that going and we can continue to fight, and when we face a couple good arms, we can stay in the fight long enough to break through. And I like the way we're playing heading to the last stretch.
You mentioned Brandon Morgan's name. I think we'd be remiss without talking. He got to talk to the team, I guess, Saturday before he threw out their first pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You played with Brandon. You can tell guys now you're 100-something games into your head coaching career. You can tell them something. He can tell them pretty much the same thing. It's always good to have another voice come in. Do you think some of what he said maybe resonated with his team?
I think it was fantastic, what he told our team. I think that when you have somebody that has done it, that has done what those guys are doing right now, they respect him a little more. He walks in with some respect and and obviously he was a great player here. But if we can, if we can convince guys to play the way that Brandon played, I mean, with that grit, with that tenaciousness, with that infectious energy, if we can get our guys playing that way, we're going to be in good shape. And it's good to have guys like him. Early in the fall we had Brian Lawrence and those guys, Brandon Manuel, come out and talk to our guys, and it just means more. When they get tired of hearing me talk all the time. So I've run out of things to say for pregame speeches. So it's nice to have somebody else come in and give a little different perspective.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.